Okay. Our reading for today comes from Reverend Kimberly Debus' Substack, Hold My Chalice, which if you have not subscribed, I highly recommend. This week's entry was a confession and a drop of wisdom. She writes, "So here's my confession. Straight up, I'm exhausted. And I've been hesitant to talk about exhaustion because every time I do, someone writes to me about how boring it is. How blah, 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 we know the world is on fire, the work is hard, ministry is hard, shut up." Yeah, I know. And so I do shut up about it. I suck it up and power through like we all do. We drink more coffee, prioritize, remember that others are struggling too, find short-term solutions, and mostly stop talking about the ways in which everything in the world is making things 10 times worse and harder than it used to be, and 1,000 times more exhausting than they used to be. Because it's not just exhaustion, it's something else. Burnout, but from what? Stress? That's even worse. A made-up Madison Avenue word, as Jet Bartlett would say. She's a huge West Wing fan. I guess he's a character on the show. I had to look it up. But I sit down every Wednesday morning with a too-long list of topics for the Substack that grows longer every day because the congregational shenanigans, trademark, keep getting wilder and weirder, but the energy to write about them keeps disappearing. And still, I write most Wednesday mornings, hiding the exhaustion, occasionally punting, occasionally missing the mark, and definitely kicking topics down the road and onto that all-too-long list of topics. But here, a week before my denomination's General Assembly, I am flat out exhausted, with still a fairly long list of things to do. I will still write next week, but expect it to be short stuff I've heard around General Assembly, maybe some photos, funny things, drops of wisdom. Nothing too in-depth, because I just don't know where I, or anyone really, is finding the wherewithal to produce even an ounce of inspiration. Fortunately, I didn't have to look far, as my friend and colleague, the Reverend Mark Bellatini, found these words of Dr. Zelena Montminy. It is the wisdom I needed to understand what it is I'm feeling. Exhaustion and stress and burnout. Yes, but it's deeper than that. Dr. Zelena writes, "So maybe what you're feeling isn't stress, or burnout, or distraction. Maybe it's grief. Not for a person, but for a moral compass we didn't realize we lost. For the values you thought were universal. For accountability. For the quiet agreements we once shared but can't seem to find anymore. It's not dysfunction. It's your integrity reacting to distortion. You may not be able to fix the whole thing, but you can choose something real inside it. Tell the truth. Tend to your corner. Anchor to care. Be a place where clarity still lives. What ache
Hello, Teresa. Here's Kaylee.
that you feel when you're awake? It's the call to build something better, and you are where the rebuilding begins." Last month, Cindy, the board president at TriUU, the sibling congregation of this congregation, challenged the congregation to rest this summer. It's something I have been thinking about all year for both congregations, but it is hard to encourage rest when so much effort is being put into all the ways congregations seemingly always need to be moving. I've been a UU for more than 18 years and in professional ministry roles for 12. I'll let you in on a secret. The work never stops needing to be done. Once a project or a program year or stewardship campaign or whatever else is fulfilled, completed, done, another thing comes up, or we can turn our attention back to something that we set down. There will always be more. Always more. Congregations have been functioning like corporations, always moving on, doing the next thing, taking on everything and anything that they can, even when it's too much. And sometimes we get caught in the doing because it's what we do. We get used to it and we keep doing it because even when we're retired, it's what we've become acclimated to. We keep doing because that's how you're supposed to get ahead. to achieve things, to get recognition, or for whatever reason. Maybe we don't even know how to not be doing or to be alone with ourselves. But people are not machines, and congregations aren't businesses. And doing things for the sake of doing things doesn't serve us or our missions well. Some things we don't do because we love this church and this faith. We do them because we're supposed to, or because that's how we've been doing it. Just because it's what we've done doesn't mean that it still works. I've said before, and I will say forever, that no one comes to church because they want to serve an institution that is devoted to how it does things instead of being devoted to living its values in the world. If I could wave my magic wand and y'all would do whatever I thought that you should do for the summer, the one thing that I would wish for is to just focus on hospitality, to offer space for people to be present, to greet people when they enter this church, to be kind to one another and to care for each other. As far as I'm concerned, hospitality, which includes caring for one another, is the core of congregational life. Everything else, however important it is secondary. My job isn't as important as welcoming people and caring for each other. Let go as much as you can in this season. Cancel a meeting or two. I've certainly been to plenty of meetings that could have been emails. If you have to meet, do it in a park, or go out to lunch, or take a walk together. Maybe spend some time reflecting on a poem or a reading instead of devoting all meeting time to an agenda. Be present and be together. Unfortunately, there was no video, so you're going to have to listen to me sing by myself and not know what it's supposed to sound like, so just trust that this is like perfect. Loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. I discovered during the first service that it's really hard to go from talking to singing, so just please bear with me. I know all of you work hard to make this congregation run, and it is so much appreciated. And this is still a small congregation, offering in some cases more than a small congregation can sustainably offer. It's okay to say no to things. It's important to say no to things sometimes. Holy no's are as important as holy yeses. We individually and as a congregation need to take some time to grieve and heal. We've lost a number of people this year, mostly to moves or absences due to tending to loved ones, as well as death. As we know, many of us were here yesterday. Our congregation needs to find how to work without them and how to work with those who have joined. It's going to be different than it was before. It should be. There have also been a number of health issues, mine included. Our bodies need rest and time to heal, as do our hearts and minds. I feel badly when people ask me if I'm attending something outside of my regular work. My body is still recovering from being so unwell and not being able to breathe properly for months before I had surgery. I am looking and feeling better, and every week I still need time to recover just from Sundays. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I'm honoring my body's need to rest and heal. I recently read Rest is Resistance, a manifesto written by Tricia Hersey. If you are looking for something gentle to read, to help soothe your nervous system or calm your mind, I'd recommend it. I found it to be a balm. Hersey discovered the imperative of rest while in seminary. She was working multiple jobs, raising a child, in graduate school, and not surprisingly, overwhelmed. Sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night was common. Our dominant culture told her that this was necessary, but how could anyone expect this to be sustainable? Soon, Hersey found herself taking naps on campus between classes or other obligations. She writes, Everything we know about rest has been tainted by the brainwashing from a white supremacist capitalist system. As a culture, we don't know how to rest, and our understanding of rest has been influenced by the toxicity of grind culture. We believe rest is a luxury, privilege, an extra treat that we can give ourselves after suffering from exhaustion and sleep deprivation. Rest isn't a luxury, but an absolute necessity if we're going to survive and thrive. Rest isn't an afterthought, but a basic part of being human. Rest is a divine right. Rest is a human right. We come into this world prepared to love, care, and rest. The systems kill us slowly via capitalism and white supremacy. Rest must interrupt. Like hope, rest is disruptive. It allows space for us to envision new possibilities. We must reimagine rest within a capitalist system. Hersey is clear that rest isn't a reward. We aren't meant to rest so that we can return to work harder, or do more, or make or push ourselves harder. It's meant to be rest, to be healing, to allow ourselves the space to let our minds wander, for our bodies to know the earth, for our spirits to be free, to deepen our relationships with ourselves, each other, and to community. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? As a Black woman whose ancestry reaches back through enslaved people who were kidnapped and brought to this continent and whose life continues to be disrupted by the demands of living in our white supremacist capitalist country, Hersey knows how rest was robbed of her ancestors over the course of their lives. She recounts her own father's life, working a full-time job during the week and as a full-time pastor to their congregation. He did not rest or tend to his health and died in his 20s or 50s. She did not want this for herself or for her family, to follow in his footsteps this way. Hersey shares how watching her son grow up helped her understand that we are trained into grind culture from a young age. Grind culture, Hersey says, is a collaboration between white supremacy and capitalism. It views our bodies as machines. It keeps us stuck in a violent cycle. It weakens our love of self and community. She shares about volunteering at her son's school and witnessing the children being told no, they could not go to the bathroom because it wasn't time for their bathroom break yet. Their body's knowledge that it was time to tend to their own needs was overridden by someone else's schedule for them. It also manifests in the homework children, youth, and adults have to do outside the classroom or sometimes workspace. The unlivable wages that are offered for work, often hard work, that requires one person to have more than one job. Our capitalist white supremacist system requires us to be exhausted. Our capitalist white supremacist system requires us to be exhausted. Otherwise, we might fight back. We might demand better and different possibilities. As it is, most of us are too tired to be able to dream or imagine what those other possibilities might be. That's part of how it keeps functioning. Loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. I know the world and this country in particular are a hellscape right now. I am upset about what is happening, like the federal government sending the National Guard and now the Marines to LA as people protest, the government kidnapping people off the streets and sending them overseas to be incarcerated. We could call the system government-sanctioned human trafficking. I'm upset about the senator who was shot and killed yesterday, and her husband, also. I'm upset about the senator who was dragged and then detained as part of a protest in immigration status. I know these things are happening. I am upset. And I promise, sadly, there will still be a hellscape around after you take your nap, or take a break from the news, or walk the dog, or make a meal for loved ones, or play some golf, or read a book. We still need to live our lives even in these challenging times, and we need to care for ourselves. It never feels like a good time or a right time to rest. Do it anyway. When your body or mind or heart or soul are stuck and overwhelmed and fighting for focus or whatever else, that is a call to rest. Answer it. We are going to be at this fight for democracy, justice, and kindness for a long, long time. When you're in doubt, I invite you to remember the parable of the choir. I love listening to choral performances, especially a cappella. What our voices are capable of is astounding, at least not mine, but in general. The parable is that the reason choirs are able to do what they can do and hold notes for so long and have such range is because there are many voices and they take turns catching their breath. The work is not ours alone. It belongs to all of us. And if you take a break, someone else will come forward to hold the space. I am hoping that in resting that you come back not able to make the church machine run, but that you have appreciation for where you are needed and where you can and want to serve. I want you to have a stronger understanding of what needs done. If your heart is asking you to do something different, use this rest time to figure out what that might be and how to do it. I want this also to be a time of discernment about what fights are worth fighting. For democracy, yes. If there's what you think is too much food at social hour, not so much. The stakes are high. Let's rise to meet them instead of holding ourselves down with things that no one will record for posterity. Hersey has laid out 4 tenets of the NAP ministry. They are: rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy. Our bodies are a site of liberation. Naps provide a portal to imagine, invent, and heal. Our dream space has been stolen and we want it back. We will reclaim it via rest. Rest is vital to creativity and imagination. We are going to need both of these and more as we continue the work of resistance in this world. Creativity and imagination can help us change how we do things so we don't feel trapped by the system we have created. Nothing has to happen the way we've decided it has to happen, except maybe legal things. Don't like how something is working? Change it. You and your rest and wholeness matter more than any way we have decided to do things. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? During your rest, reflect on your center, the thing that calls you to it, your anchor in chaos, what helps soothe your broken heart as it beats. The less plugged into the news cycle you are, the more psychic space you will feel. Don't let them hold you hostage to your fear or keep you frozen with despair. Rest doesn't have to mean naps or going to bed earlier or sleeping later, to be clear. It is also daydreaming, staring out the window, going for an ice cream, boating, walking in the park, visiting neighbors, watching a movie, doing things that you love and bring you ease. especially in these difficult days. Do things that bring you joy and allow you to witness beauty. These are the things that will save us. Atina O'Danner writes in her Braver, Wiser reflection from January 26, 2022, titled The Rest That Will Heal Us, a spell for rest and renewal. I draw on the power of houseplants, candlelight, laughter, and dreaming to reclaim the rest that will heal me. In defiance of white supremacy, ableism, and patriarchy, I refuse to light the other end of my candle. I will boldly protect my softness, defend my sleep, and liberate all of my unassigned minutes, hours, and days. I am one soft animal among many, a cell in the breathing world's body. Let us be cared for as such. May it be so. If you would please rise and lift your voice in song with me.